Ladies and gentlemen, the LA Kings of the 1970s had some good defensemen, but this guy was not only good on the back end, he rarely took a penalty, and although he was featured in some of the most bizarre hockey cards of his era, especially on an Edmonton Oilers card when he never played for the Gretzky Oilers, he was kind of deep in our hearts as an overachiever. So today we're going to be talking about the pride of Brandon, Manitoba, Larry Brown. Now, Larry Wayne Brown, born April 14, 1947, good drink of water, 6'1", 180. Very, very solid, again, player. He played with numerous teams in the NHL, but he first came to major prominence with the Brandon Wheat Kings of the MJHL and then the SJHL. Best season with Brandon was 1966. We had 24 points in 59 games. Now, he ended up being undrafted, and he found himself in EAHL Senior League with New Haven in 68 with 27 points in 71 games. He played 69 with the Omaha Knights with 19 points, then graduated to the Rangers, owned his rights. He had 15 games in 1970 and also played 41 contests with the Buffalo Bisons. 71, he found himself in a rebuilding year for Detroit. Over for the Rangers, played 64 games that year with 2 goals and 5 assists for 7 points. 72, the Flyers took a chance on him. He played 12 games with Philly and also 9 games with the Richmond Robins. But when he moved to LA in 73, this is where he became huge, ladies and gentlemen. A big part of the Kings, what they call no-name defense. It wouldn't take many penalties, ladies and gentlemen. He'd be lucky to take 4 in the season, and that's what the total was with LA in 73. Now, he rarely score a goal, but he rarely make a mistake. He had 16 points in 75 with 1 goal, 7 points in 74 games in 76 with 2 goals. And in 77, he split time between LA and Fort Worth Texans of the CHL, where he had 7 points with LA. 78, 9 points in 57 games. Now, in the late 1970s, there was talk that he would come back to major hockey after playing with Springfield of the AHL for most of 79. Now, in 1980, he was in the Oilers system, played with the Cincinnati Stingers of the Houston Apollos of the CAHL, 70 games with 10 points. Now, you're wondering about the cards I was mentioning. There's one card, I think is mid-1970s, where half the card is left out. And the rule of thirds didn't apply. Like, there was half the card was nothing in the card, and then he's head halfway through. And of course, that infamous Edmonton Oilers card in 1980, where the Oilers had signed him, and a lot of people thought he was going to make it, but just like John Baby with Quebec, no go. So final NHL totals: 455 games, 80 points and 7 goals, only 180 minutes and penalties. And in the playoffs, 4 assists and 35 contests with only 5 minors. Now, of course, in the MJHL, he's one of the best players in 67 when he made a second All-Star team. Now, a lot of LA Kings fans, a lot of fans of the 1970s hockey remember Larry Brown. And I remember one night when he was playing Toronto, and the announcer, I think it was Brian McFarland, said, "Yeah, something new tonight, Larry Brown has touched the puck." He would very rarely get an assist, let alone set up a play. He was just like Randy Maneri and Kenny Geezer and some of the old Kings players, a very, very dedicated player to the LA Kings system. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here with our Vintage Podcast, let us know with a like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget, the 1970s LA Kings had some great players and some great, great defenders that overachieved because, listen, when you got to fly all the way from LA to Toronto for a road trip for Toronto, Montreal, you got to be good, and Larry Brown was good. Thanks for listening. Bye.